Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go! Thanks, Zoe, for a great few hours here on the Go Radio Football Show. Just leaving the studio. Merry Christmas, Barry Ferguson, Mark Guidi. Still full of the good tidings, Barry. Have you had a great couple of days?
Yeah, a brilliant Christmas day. I didn't have so good a Boxing Day, obviously, but I like Christmas. It was great to spend it with all the family, and listen, we had a fantastic time.
We hope everyone stays well during these COVID times. For yesterday, both sides of the Old Firm will go into the break pretty happy. Celtic at lunchtime played well at St Johnstone, and Rangers seeing off St Mirren.
Yes, Celtic missing a few key players, obviously the biggest one being Callum McGregor, who I think has been Celtic's best player. So to go up to McDermott Park and get 3 points and get a good victory, I'm sure Postecoglou will be happy. And in terms of Rangers, you seen what St Mirren done to Celtic during the week, getting a great point. So it was all about making sure Rangers got the 3 points. It was a commanding performance. Scott Wright getting on the score sheet and Morelos scoring again. So overall, I'm sure both managers will be delighted with the weekend's performances.
Mark Guidi, when you look at it, top of the table then, Rangers on 51 points as we go into the break, Celtic on 45, Hearts on 36. It would have been unthinkable for Celtic to drop any more points after the disappointment midweek against the other Saints.
Yeah, I mean, they had to. It was a strong starting 11 that Celtic had yesterday. The bench not so depleted squad that Ange Postecoglou had to work with, but it was a professional job, professional performance. The early goal obviously settled them down after 8 or 9 minutes. And then getting 2 up by half time. St Johnstone came back into it, a good goal from Chris Kane, and then Beaton, who I thought was superb yesterday, really was different class, led by example as captain, and he sealed it with 8-9 minutes to go with a nice strike from the edge of the box. So overall, we're pretty much now at the halfway stage of the season, Paul. It is game on, but for Celtic there's no room for error. It's a lovely lead to have for Rangers, considering that they've brought in a new manager. It's been seamless, and Rangers absolutely are the team to catch.
Yep, Rangers 9 league wins in a row. Elsewhere yesterday, Hibs winning 3-1 at Dundee United. Hearts stay third, 2-1 against Ross County, and Motherwell 2-1 against Livingston, and Aberdeen 2-1 against Dundee. COVID very much back with us, it's never been away. But Barry, it was hard to take yesterday, wasn't it? Looking and seeing, well, look at Ibrox for example, it looked pretty desolate. 500 fans in a stadium that takes 50,000.
Yeah, no great. I feel for the players and also the fans. Listen, it's an eerie atmosphere, no doubt about it. I didn't enjoy it last season, I've got to be honest with you, even watching the games, but I can only imagine that it would have been even more difficult for the players to play in empty stadiums. For me, football's nothing without the fans. It's just disappointing that we've made this decision, but the decision's been made and you need to go on with it. And I just hope sooner rather than later, I should say, that the fans are allowed back in to support their clubs.
I wonder what people think listening. Will you be back soon at the football? We're due back on January the 17th? That's when
Monday,
it will be back.
Monday
night. Looking forward to it. Listen, we know the Rangers fans wanted it to continue just now. They're on a terrific run. And Celtic fans in general, I think, thought, and many other clubs apart from Ross County, said, well, let's start the break now. It's not perfect, nobody likes it, but you saw it yesterday, Mark, with virtually no fans there. It's a different game.
But Scottish football had to give itself the best possible chance to allow fans back in. I was at McDermott Park yesterday. Pretty much horrible atmosphere. It just felt like we'd stepped back in time a year, and it wasn't pleasant considering what we've been used to since August. So if we can bring this break forward, I think it makes sense. Yeah, you understand Rangers, good bit of momentum, probably wanted the Old Firm game to go ahead. under those circumstances. That's all understandable. But the revenue pot, I think, like for example, St Johnstone, that fixture yesterday, under the circumstances it plays, cost them 120 grand.
What would the crowd have been yesterday?
So you would have had 10,000,
Right.
and no problem.
You've got Zippo, 500.
Hospitality, etc. So that costs about 120 grand. So therefore, if you look at Celtic Rangers, I think Celtic probably would have felt more it would have been about not having 57,000 fans in, rather than the financial part of it. But if I think Hibs were due at Easter Road against Hearts, was it Dundee United were due at Dundee were due at Dens? So you think of the loss of revenue for those big derby games, Paul? It makes sense, and we've got to allow fans in for all sorts of different reasons. So I still think that the month of January is going to be a real challenge towards the end of it, even to get fans in, the way our government is handling things compared to down the road. The number of 500 fans is preposterous. It still can't be explained why it's at 500 fans. You're absolutely right. Why can only 500 fans get into Ibrox at 50,000 people yesterday? It does not make sense. It does not add up. But if the government are calling the shots, then we have to respond to it in the best way that we can to allow our fans to get into the game.
And Barry, in England, people continue. Lots of the games have gone off because of COVID, and we know that, and it's affected loads of the teams here. But the games go ahead with.
Yeah, but it's strange watching them. Yeah. Full houses.
Etihad yesterday.
Yep. Full houses. And obviously we've made the decision up here to go down to 500 people. I don't get it with the size of the stadiums. You make a good example. Ibrox holds, I just think, under 52,000, and there's only allowed 500 fans in. For me, it doesn't make sense.
1%.
Yep, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to go to pubs and watch it. They're going to go to people's houses and watch it, and they're going to congregate in places like that. So it doesn't make sense for me. But listen, the decision's been made. We can't do anything about it. I just hope, as I said, that fans are allowed in sooner rather than later, because I don't want to see football played without the fans.
It's 0.5%.
Is it 0.5? Thank you.
It's
Oh,
0.5%.
Well done.
Because 1% would be.
No, you're right, because 10% would be 5,000.
Yeah.
1%, 500. Yep, you're right.
That's right. I was right the first time.
0800
James, going to check this out.
You get my abacus out.
0808 17 700, or you can come on the socials at Go Football Show. Hope you're safe and well. That is the main thing. Get your vaccination, get your booster, and let's get on top of this going into the new year, rather than being locked away, for people's mental health to get out and about. Yep, that is, you were right about that, about the percentage. So there's still a lot to talk about. We're on till 7 tonight, and we're going to stay on during this break because football continues, Barry, for you. And it was a difficult weekend for you. I know for Alloa, we were on yesterday with the guys, and we see the results coming in. But it's in your league, nobody has run away with it, have they? That's the thing.
No, but listen, I'm not going to hide for the fact that we're in a sticky situation at this moment in time. That's 3 defeats in a row. With the players that I've got, it's not good enough. But the only way you're going to get out it is to roll your sleeves up and work even harder. That's what I've always kind of maintained throughout my career. I've been through bad patches with bad performances, and I work even harder to try and turn the results around about in the right way for us. Look, all managers go through it, all players go through it, all teams go through it. It's about, just as I said, gritting your teeth, working harder than you ever had before, and I'm sure we'll come out it.
Is this the first time in management you've gone through a sticky spell?
Well, I've had that a couple of times. As I said, it's part and parcel. Like, look, you know before you go into it that these times are going to happen. They're no nice. Listen, it's you toss and turn at night, and you think about what way can I change it? Can I change the formation? Can I change the personnel? All these things run through your head. And I'm not the only manager that's going through a tough time. I feel from, because it becomes a lonely place at times. But listen, I'm one of the guys. My attitude is always to work even harder and roll my sleeves up, and that's what we'll do. And that will start tomorrow night at training. In the Championship, Dick Campbell, he'll be in great form. Another win yesterday, Mark, top of the table, and Killie stayed tucked in the race anyway. A late win, well, not that late, but they overcame Hamilton Accies, and Killie really needed it. Any word yet on who's going to be the new manager? Because that's a big job there. Yeah. They want to be back in the Premiership.
Yeah, it's an attractive job. United jobs up for grabs as well.
Marvin Bartley has been quoted for that.
Marvin Bartley, Dan O'Dea, I think, are the two names that have been linked. Of course, Graham Matthew is going in there as the sort of chief executive. So he'll have a link to Marvin Bartley when they were at Hibs together. So yeah, that could be one. But then Davy Martindale's just lost Dougie Imrie to Morton. So does he want to lose Marvin so quickly too? But yeah, the original point about Kilmarnock, it's a great job, Paul. I think we were speaking about it the other night with Rob, and a really good job, good football club. If you get it going there, if you're up the top of the league and pushing to win that title, you'll easily get 6,000 or 7,000 through the gates at Rugby Park. The fans will come out when the team's successful. But it's a warning to all clubs and to hierarchies about decision making. Less than 3 years ago, Kilmarnock had Steve Clark. They're getting into Europe, they're doing things, and then from there was decisions made that didn't work in terms of managerial appointments. So it's a warning to all clubs that never take anything for granted, and that's why between Billy Bowie and James Fowler at Kilmarnock, they need to get this one right. And certainly by the people who have applied for the job, Paul, they've got a real strong shortlist to choose from, and I think they'll make a decision within the next 48 hours.
Yeah, it's a good club. It's a place that I always enjoy going down to play. Used to love going to Rugby Park. I'm surprised that it never worked out for Tommy Wright. I've got a lot of respect for Tommy Wright. I think he's a top manager. That was proven the job he done at St Johnstone. But listen, it's a great job to get, and I'm sure there's a lot of managers that will be eyeing it up. If you get them back into the Premier League, for me, Kilmarnock should be pushing in the top 6 in the Premier League. They're going through a tough time just now, but they need to make sure they get the next appointment right. But for me, it's a great job to get.
Right, let's hear from the two managers from the big two. So the lunchtime kick-off, 12:30, Celtic at McDiarmid Park. They were in good form, many changes. They'd obviously maybe some COVID problems. Kyogo did start. We'll find out what the manager says about his injury. But what about a game without fans?
I don't like it. Like I said, I'm super happy with the way the boys went about it today, but did I enjoy the game? No. Like I said, I had a season of it in Japan, and I just don't think it's the same game. It's this, we all need to realise that it's the supporters, that make the game. They're the ones that create the atmosphere, that make those special moments. And I don't think it'd be any one player or anyone, any manager who enjoy playing in an atmosphere like this.
A couple of hours later, Rangers 2-0 at Ibrox against St Mirren. Giovanni was very pleased.
We tried. Our passing game was really good today, and you could see the spaces were opening up in the second half. Adjusted a little bit their formation defensively, so which we had even more space to create chances. But in the end, you want to have the 3 points, of course, with as many goals as possible. But I think I was very pleased with the way they performed on the pitch.
Scott Wright getting the first, Morelos the second. Barry, Morelos playing. He looks sharper and he looks a bit thinner. I don't know if it's just the Christmas card, but I saw they said it in the telly as well. And he's playing with a smile. Yeah,
I've certainly seen a difference since Gio's come in, no doubt about it. You're bang on what you said there. He looks slimmer, he looks fitter, he looks sharper, and he's playing with a smile on his face, and he's scoring goals. And that's what Rangers and Gio needed to get him back doing, and that's what he does best. To me, when he's on this type of form, he's a top striker. No doubt about it. He'll score you goals. He'll frustrate at times, no doubt about it. But to me, he looks in a happy place just now, and he's doing the hardest thing in the game, and that's scoring goals.
4 goals in 5 games, Mark.
He's doing well. And the thing for me about Morelos is, Paul, we're talking about him for his goals. Too often in the past we were talking about him, for yellow cards or red cards or off the field stuff, time keeping at training, etc., etc. Yeah. But now, since Giovanni Van Bronckhorst comes in, you're right, there's absolutely, I don't know, it might not be, but it looks as though he's leaner. When you see him in his jersey, he looks much leaner. He's smiling. Sometimes he can have an angle as if he's not happy with himself, but he's smiling. He's clearly in a happy place, and he's backing it up with goals. But he's not only scoring goals, he's contributing to the overall performance. He's been a proper team player under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst too, which just adds to what he's got. So if Morelos can keep this going, and there's no reason why he can't. He looks after himself, has a good break for the next 10 days or so, then comes back ready for the second half of the season. The business end of the season, he can 100% be the main man helping Rangers to retain the title. He can go on and help Rangers win that title. If Morelos isn't on it, Rangers might struggle, but with him there and a focal point and being right up for it, then Rangers can win the league with him leading the line.
His goal sums him up just now. Good header, but he's first to react. That's sharpness, that's fitness. See, when you're fit, you're fit upstairs, and that's what happened with his goal against St Mirren. As I said, he was first to react before any St Mirren defenders. But look, there's no doubt about it. I've seen a major difference in him since Gio's come in, and that's maybe what he needed. He maybe needed a kick up the backside, because there's no doubt he's got so much quality.
Do you think maybe Steven Gerrard had enough of him? You know, he'd given him a couple of warnings. He'd been really good with him over the years, but maybe it's a clean.
He always supported him in the public, no doubt about it. I'm sure behind closed doors he wouldn't have been happy with his performances or maybe his fitness levels, but there's a clear change in him, and maybe Gio's had that input. Maybe he sat him down and said, look, I need you to be fitter because you're a big player for us. And he is, when he's on that type of form, he is a big player. He's a match winner, and Rangers need players like him playing like that every single week.
I'm very pleased. Of course, it's difficult situation for both of us. For me as a manager coming in at this time of the season, also for the players to get a new coach and of course some coaching staff as well. But I think we did very very well just to continue the work Stephen did with the players, adjusted it a little bit in areas I thought we had to change. Very pleased because since I came in, we had a lot of wins, only one draw, also in Europa League. So I'm very pleased with the performances the players did since my arrival.
And closing the back door as well, Mark.
Yeah, I mean 6 clean sheets out of the 7 league games. So it's an impressive record considering that Rangers were conceding almost every game this season under Steven Gerrard. So that's a big improvement. The input from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, because he's a manager, never take anything away from the manager, but by all accounts one of the coaches that he's brought with him, Dave Voss, is different class, real detail. The players like him. Tactically he's on it. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst trusts him. He's very sought after in Holland, so it was a real coup to get him to come along with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. So the manager is a focal point, but it's about the guys that you have around about you as well. You can't do it all on your own. You've got to be able to trust people. You've got to be able to delegate, allow them to do their tasks. You've got the players to like them, and so far all those ingredients are adding up, and that's why Rangers are in such a good place. At
the start of the season you both said you think Rangers will win the title. They'll retain the title 2 in a row. We're going to give you the chance to look at that prediction again, or whatever. You can look at it, because this is the final programme with both of you this year. Here's Ange Postecoglou after the 3-1 win. Somebody said to me they had 17 players in total who might have been available, weren't available yesterday for Celtic. Certainly massive changes. And afterwards, after the 3-1 win, this was his reaction.
Yeah, it was difficult conditions, obviously, with the pitch the way it was, and they were pretty desperate for points as well. So, but I thought first half we were really good. We took control of the game, scored a couple of good goals. Probably could add 2 or 3 more. Second half got a bit scrappy, particularly in the middle bit, but still had our chances to get further ahead. But overall, just thought great attitude shown by the players.
Barkas there as well, which we haven't seen him for months, have we, really? But he did okay, didn't he? Not too much to do.
He did a lot to do. He came into a couple of cross balls. He had no chance with the goal. It was a really good finish, cross and finish. But one thing, like watching Celtic, yes, and I know all the teams do it now, and there's just this philosophy: don't punt the ball up the park. And I get that. I'm still more of a guy in certain situations. Nobody's ever scored for Rose Ed, and I know it's not pleasant in the eye, but I'd rather put it in his own head than risk losing a goal. I mean, you see Celtic, they were putting themselves under pressure with shot by kicks at 2-0 down. Eventually they paid the price when Starfelt was shot with a ball. So I think when things like that, sometimes on such a difficult surface, it's not conducive to playing the ball round back. Clear your lines, get it up the pitch, reshape. Barry, maybe I'm just way off the mark with that.
But listen, I'm all for that. Don't take any chances. But you don't need to. When you're 2-0 up, you're comfy in the game. Sometimes it's better just playing in the opposition half. That's it, get the ball in. But listen, that's the way vast majority of teams want to play now. They want the goalkeeper playing it out to centre backs in the 6-yard box and trying to pass their way out. Listen, it's great when it works, but you can put yourself under a bit of pressure. And that's what Celtic did yesterday with Starfelt giving the ball away, St Johnstone break, and obviously Chris Kane with a real good finish. But the signs of a good team is they respond straight away, and that's what they've done with Beaton getting the goal.
Huge possession yesterday. What about stand-in skipper near Beaton and Rogic? That was a great double act. They controlled the game yesterday.
Yeah, Beaton for me has always been a good player. I've always thought his strongest point is obviously he's comfy on the ball, he's comfy under pressure. And and that's what he showed yesterday with his performance. Obviously getting the armband must have gave his confidence a major boost. But look, he was in top form. He was Celtic's best player for me yesterday.
The bench, when you look at it, young Dawson coming on did well.
He did, yeah.
But when you look at it, it's going to be a massive January for them. We said we'd hear about Kyogo. You probably know today. It looked bad at the time, didn't it? When he pulled up. Mark, you were there.
Yeah.
Were you worried about him?
Yeah, it certainly looked that one. He just went down and he didn't mess about. And when the Celtic medical staff came on, Tim Williamson came on, no messing about, just boom, sub, get him off. Even though it was a kid that we're having to bring on, I think by that point Celtic were 1 up. Anyway, so it was looking okay for them, but I think it does show the need to go and get another striker, and they are closing in on Maeda, I think, from Japan, expecting that to get done within the next 7 days, which is positive for Celtic. I haven't watched him on YouTube or any of that kind of stuff, Paul, but certainly the reports are that he's a bit special, he's a bit dynamic in the final third, so that's a good one for Celtic. But you mentioned Beaton was superb, but Rogic again just gives the team that extra touch of class, that extra bit of finesse. You look at the weight of pass for the second goal, you look at how he just created that wee half yard to his left hand side to receive the pass, just the correct angle, and then just weighted it beautifully for Abada to go and score. So I mean, I think McGregor's been great. Kyogo obviously, the 2 goals that he got in the cup final, the way the execution of them. But Tom Rogic, and now doing it for 90 minutes as well, Paul, he's perhaps as good as I've had in the first half of the season. He's been absolutely flawless.
Barry, great to watch, isn't he, the Aussie?
Yeah, I've always thought that. I always remember going back and asking Craig Moore, why, what's the reasons for the 60 minutes, 65 minutes, 70 minutes, and he says there was never any issues with his fitness, and you've seen this season, certainly under Postecoglou, he's played the vast majority. When he started the game, he's played the 90 minutes, but there's no doubt, I mean, he's a gifted footballer. He can handle the ball, he can score goals, he can play the slide rule passes. But one thing about him, he's strong as an ox as well. People are trying to get the ball off him, bang, he knows how to use his arms really well, and listen, he's turned into a key player for Celtic this season.
The Japanese boy went off early. There was a great concern about him. The manager, he just sort of shrugged afterwards.
Yeah, he's okay. Look, he wanted to give it a go today. We knew he wasn't 100%, and we said to him, don't overly risk. He felt it a little bit, so just take him off. But he'll be fine.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go!
Thanks, James, keeping us right up to date with the traffic and travel. I must say it was pretty quiet on the way in. Yeah, it's Monday. It's 5:25. This is coming from the heart of Glasgow. Thanks for making the switch. We're on every night from 5 o'clock. First to kick off with a football chat. Thanks to everyone who's made the switch in the last year and a half. Well over 1 million downloads to the Go Radio Football Show. Barry Ferguson, the Rangers legend, Mark Guidi, broadcasting royalty, and Rob McLean standing here, Paul Cooney with you. Rob will be back tomorrow night, and with him tomorrow evening, and I know who it is. It's going to be Craig Moore tomorrow night. He was here. Yes, he was in great form. He brought in the selection boxes and he ate all of it himself. No, he came in with that yesterday along with Big John
What did he bring in?
Yeah, selection boxes. Yeah. They were out of date. No, they weren't. I'm only kidding.
Well, he was down my house a couple of weeks ago and he brought nothing in.
Oh, no, he did.
Perfect COVID.
So we'll be on every night from 5. So yesterday, Celtic.
Seriously? Did they bring selection boxes?
No. I cannot lie. 3-1 Celtic yesterday. Rangers 2-0 against St Mirren. Hearts stay third top as we go into this break. 2-1 against Ross County. No, he didn't. not a sausage, not a carrot. Hibs winning 3-1 at Dundee United. Aberdeen 2-1 at Dundee, and I see nephew Lewis got on the score sheet. And Motherwell 2, Livingston 1 in the Championship. What another great day for Arbroath. And we need to think about it. Are the part-timers going to be in the Premiership? The Cinch Premiership, could it be Arbroath next season? Because we're over halfway through and they are top of the table. And I see your old club Kelty Hearts, they went down to 10 men. They lost 5-1 the first game they've lost all season. It's been some record though.
Yeah, listen, it's going to happen at some stage, but at the start to the season and the run they've been on, for the first time in the SPFL, albeit it's only League Two, but what a run and what a job Tomo's done.
He has.
So listen, I'm sure it affected them with getting the man sent off at one each, no doubt about it. I'm sure next week they'll come back with a bang.
You've got a big game in a few weeks, Barry, haven't you? You've got Celtic coming to town.
Yep. Sure have.
Are you talking about that? Yeah, we will before the end of the programme, because I know you've got you've got Falkirk this weekend, but also that's going to be a huge game in a few weeks' time, Mark. We're looking forward to
live on the telly,
live on the
at
telly.
5 on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
Be a
We'll be
belter
there.
on
Go
the-
ready, can we speak to you? No, I'm too busy. I'm on Sky Sports here, or Premier Sports or whatever.
Premier, yeah. No, it's a good. I think it's a really good Scottish Cup card that weekend. I think there's 3 or 4. Cove against Hibernian will be a cracker. Kelty against the Holders. St Johnstone will be a cracker. Alloa against Celtics. Yeah, there's some tasty ties that weekend.
Yeah, the only disappointing thing is, you know what I'm going to say?
Tell me.
The fans.
Surely they're going to be back. If anyone, in government or whatever's listening,
By then that'll be well over the 3 weeks. That'll be nudging towards 4.
Yes.
So hopefully, but you're right, Barry. Unfortunately, we can't take anything for granted. But it'd be nice to think that we're back having full houses starting that weekend. That'd be perfect.
And it's good for the club, obviously.
Of course.
A bit of money coming in. Obviously, times are tough for all clubs.
What's your capacity?
I think it's just over. I think it's 3,500.
Right. Okay.
So something like that. But I'm not just talking about the club. Even like the bars or whatever round about Alloa would have got a good turn with the amount of obviously Celtic fans that would have been travelling through, and I'm sure they've come through early and went for a couple of beers. So that's a disappointing thing. But look, as you say, that 3-week period will be over. Hopefully, the fans will be allowed back in.
Dave Mackay, a name that featured yesterday, the assistant manager at Dundee, had to be registered again as a player aged 40. He didn't come on. I don't think he came on at all. No. Barry, any chance that you'll re-register as a player?
There's hope for us all, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. What are you, 42? Yeah. So
no, I'll take 42.
Okay, well, you look at
44 in 4 weeks.
Would you play if you had to in the coming months?
To keep a game on?
Yes.
Registered myself, yeah, of course. I would, if I was asked, and it was the only possibility of a game being on. I don't know about playing, starting the game.
You're the manager.
Yeah, I know.
So, would you just ask yourself? Do you go in the mirror and go, just Barry?
No, but that's the problem you might have. You might need to register yourself. What Dave Mackay done at Dundee. You never know. You honestly never know. And I was surprised to see that. And you look at their bench. I think they only had 4 people.
Two young goalies or something like that.
Yeah.
Dave Mackay.
That's a tough one for Dundee. And listen, I think it's going to happen over the next period of time, no doubt about it.
For sure. One of the goals of the day came from that game, Mark, and it's it reminded me of his goals against England a few years ago. For those who didn't see it, what was it, 35 yards out?
Yeah, aye, 35 yards,
Yep.
left peg, gap in the wall. Joe Lewis was kind of standing central, and he's just absolutely ripped it right into the goalkeeper's top right hand corner. It was a hell of a finish. It put Dundee in the lead. They couldn't hold on to the lead. Aberdeen eventually got the better of them and got the points. I think Aberdeen played well, just going by sportsy. I think Aberdeen played well. But yeah, it was a special strike by Lee Griffiths yesterday.
He saw that gap in the wall when he went for it.
That's a frustrating thing, I think, for a lot of people. That's what Lee Griffiths can do. That's for me, when he's fit and obviously firing, there's no doubt he can score goals, and you need to just go back to the 2 England goals, the amount of goals he scored at all the clubs he's been at, and that was proof yesterday. That's the frustrating thing about Lee Griffiths.
Jack's on the socials at Go Football Show saying his goal of the day was an absolute brilliant goal. His side lost, but it was a classic. He lost 4, maybe 5 players before he beat the goalkeeper, Dundee United.
Yeah, young Glass.
Declan Glass.
Glass, yeah. It was a beautiful goal. The way he just danced and jinked inside, just kept moving on to his left. He left 4 Hibernian players in his wake. And it was a good 25 to 30 yard run as he bobbed and weaved and eventually unleashed left foot shot 15-16 yards. Macy had no chance. Yeah, I would agree. It would take something special to beat Lee Griffiths' goal yesterday. But yeah, I certainly think that young Declan Glass is worthy of the the goal of the weekend in the SPFL Premiership. It was something very special.
Barry, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, fantastic goal, great piece of skill, good composure. Pretty similar to Rogic up at Tannadice
Aye.
as well.
Danced.
Yeah, but it's great to see that. Had everything. So for me, that just pips Lee Griffiths.
That was your goal of the
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah.
for sure. It's a bit special, individual effort. Thanks for that coming on the socials at Go Football Show. We might take a few calls as well, 0808 17 17 700, but there's so much happened yesterday and today as well. We're keeping an eye on things. Motherwell fans are on saying, what about Tony Watt? It hasn't been confirmed, but he was on the bench yesterday, didn't feature. Barry, it looks as though the pre-contract with Dundee United, is that a big enough move for him? Will they pay him that much more money than Motherwell, where he'd found a home, that they loved him, top scorer? Could a deal not be done to keep him at Fir Park?
It's the only person that will know that's Tony Watt and his agent. I would guess Dun United will have a bigger budget than Motherwell.
Yeah.
But going back on Tony Watt, I just think over the last year or so, for me, he's produced real top performances. He's scored some fantastic goals this season. I just thought Tony Watt looked in a happy place. I think Motherwell suited him and vice versa. Tony Watt suited Motherwell. So obviously they've not been able to come to agreement, but the age that Tony Watt is, Paul, people have got to remember he's got to look after himself.
Yeah.
You're a long time finished. It may be an offer that he couldn't refuse. So look, the only person I'll know that in terms of financial terms is obviously Tony and his advisors. But I would imagine that Dun United would have a bigger budget and be able to pay a better salary than Motherwell.
Mark?
Yeah, I would think that Dundee United having a budget, Paul, the ability to really push the boat out for 2 or 3 players, and so much so that I wouldn't be surprised if what Tony Watt has agreed to go to Dundee United for, it'd be touching double of what Motherwell be, and that's no disrespect. That'd be Motherwell pushing the boat out themselves, going to their top line, but Motherwell run a tight ship, and rightly so. They're always a club that just want to make sure they don't put themselves into any bother, considering where they were, 15 years ago or so. So I totally get that, and Barry's right. For Tony Watt, he is in a happy place at Motherwell. It's been brilliant for him the past 18 months, but this is probably his last big contract. He might have won more really good one, but at the age at 28 to 31, 32, that's where you go. I don't make any apologies for saying it, for any footballer or any person, any walk of life. You go and go for the money at that age, Paul. And when he's doing well, that's you go and look to cash in. Dundee United, as I say, have pushed the boat out for him, and he's decided to go. Now the issue becomes, do they try and do a deal next month? And I think under such circumstances, for all parties, you try and get this over the line in the next few weeks so everybody can move on.
What kind of scale would that be? Would it be from $2,000 a week, 100,000 a year?
That'd be more than
to
that.
more.
Yeah, I think
$3,000 to
it'd be nudging.
$6,000.
Yeah, it'd be nudging.
Higher.
I would imagine around about the 180 to £200,000 a year mark.
Right.
They've not replaced Shanklin for me.
No. And they know it.
Yep, they know it. They need a goal scorer, and obviously Tony Watt's been the hot one.
Yep.
Out with the bigger teams. I mean, it's a hard one for Motherwell. Look, Motherwell are right. They stick to a strict budget. They can't go over it, and Tony's got a difficult decision. Because listen, it must be hard for Tony, because I've listened to him a couple of times, and he's been really honest in terms of how Motherwell's been really good for him. But at the end of the day, you've got to look after number one.
Yep.
And Tony's known that this will be his last big contract.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
Kevin Van Veen did all right, scored
Yeah.
a couple, and
did.
a great goal.
Yeah, he did. That was a great header. He got a goal the week before against St Johnstone. Nice kind of dribble and drilled home. A finish. So he's been a good find. That's where your recruitment and your contacts really come into play. Particularly clubs like Motherwell, just we've been talking about there. They don't have thousands and thousands of pounds to throw at players every week. So when they find a wee nugget, and I think when you look at Motherwell's record over the past few years, they always dig up some really good players. They really do. You think to Michael Higdon, to John Sutton. They had a couple of really good
Louis
wingers,
Moult.
Barry, Louis
Yep.
Moult, and then a couple of really fast.
Bowman.
This went down south. Ryan Bowman. was good. It was Humphreys. Remember Humphrey
well done.
in wing?
I had him at Kelty.
Did you? Aye. So
Chris Humphreys.
aye,
Did you?
there was
Yeah.
him as well. So I think the recruitment they've always, because you look at, and I think Graham Alexander's alluded to it in the past couple of weeks as well, talking about the Tony Watt situation. They almost have to rebuild a team every summer. A lot of time it's just 1 year deals, or else players will get prized away with bigger contract offers. So a credit to Motherwell, they've had a really good season so far. Delighted for Graham Alexander. He's a good guy, works really hard, good manager, knows his stuff, and he's got Motherwell into a really good place.
And in general, people were a wee bit sceptical about him because we didn't know that much. We know he's got Scotland caps, but he wasn't that well known, having spent so much of his career down south. Can you believe it was a year this Friday since Stephen Robinson left Motherwell? They were third bottom of the table, and they're now fourth top at the moment. It's been quite a quick year. And as you said, Barry, Mark was mentioned, it was a complete rebuild job, almost complete, huge rebuild job in the summer.
Yep, and I think Graham Alexander's done a terrific job. They've strange. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago that went up to Dens Park and they get battered with Dundee, but they've always come back. But listen, he'd be sitting in fourth place, as you mentioned there. It was a big rebuild job in the summer, and he's recruited really well. And to be fair to Motherwell, as Mark's pointed out, over the last 4, 5, 6 years, the recruitment's been really good. They've always brought players up that nobody's known about from the lower leagues of English football, and they've always produced real top performances, and that's merited moves down to like League One and the Championship.
Sure has. So that's Motherwell, because the West of Scotland team, we've gone to them first. What about Hearts? They've probably been the surprise package of 2021, Barry. When you think about it, they came up. Everyone said, I don't know if the manager's going to last after the Brora Rangers Cup defeat. But third top of the table, and they're sitting on 36 points. Celtic 45, Rangers 51. Your assessment this year of that?
Terrific season.
Yep.
I couldn't understand the criticism that Robbie was getting last year. He'd done the job that he had to do, and that was make sure they get back in the Premier League. He's done that, and for them to be sitting in third place, I think it's theirs to lose.
And your big pal Lee McCulloch, of course, your former
they've done a great
teammate.
job. Yep, done a great job.
Are they a good double act? Do they work well together?
Yep. Really enjoys it. Really enjoys working under Robbie. But it's their third place to lose. I think Hearts in a strong position. You look at the squad they've got match winners. They've got a goal scorer in Liam Boyce as well. They're solid defensively. Obviously with John Souttar's just been capped with Scotland there, and look at the goalkeeper they've got a top class operator in Craig Gordon. So for me, Hearts 100% a third place this year.
I would have Robbie Neilson as my manager of the year so far, Paul. Yeah. You take everything into account. The pressure that was under at the start of the season, opening fixture at home to Celtic, etc. Everything into account. I'd have Robbie Neilson as the manager of the year so far,
especially with Hibs doing so well for much of the year.
Yeah.
They got to cup final, they got to semi-final last year, then this year
had to win over our support all over again. There's a number of Hearts fans that wanted Robbie out, and he's managed to come through that. He's managed and by the way, you've got to say as well, credit to Anne Budge and the board. I think they've backed him really well, backed him well too in the Championship last season. But he rewarded again. We could talk about recruitment. Craig Gordon, boom, and you get possibly a player of the season so far as well. Craig Gordon, you look at his performances, to John Souttar, young Woodburn on loan from Liverpool, Liam Boyce when he's fit,
a great striker, isn't he?
What Herring as well, still getting a jump. Kingsley,
Mackay, you can go on.
Mackay,
they've got a strong squad.
They have got a really good squad. He's been backed well, but you know what, being given funds doesn't guarantee you success, Paul. So and I say, taking the big picture into account, what he's been up against internally in terms of the home support, I think Robbie's been absolutely terrific. And as we move into 2022, I'd give him the manager of the year for the first half of the season.
We'll find out who Barry will give it to. Is it Stephen Gerrard or Giovanni Van Bronckhorst? I've just been a bit cheeky. You can tell him on the other side of the desk.
It's the festive season.
I want to find out how the panto was the other night, but we also want to we're going to go through all the teams here in the Premiership, and we'll hear more from the managers. We'll hear from GVB and AP here on GO Radio. That's coming next.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go.
Thanks, Chris. Terrific Christmas jumper he's still wearing. It's day 4. No, Chris, looking good. He changes every single day a Christmas jumper. Barry, did you have the Christmas jumper on Friday because you went to the panto with the family?
No, with the Christmas mass on.
Right.
Obviously the face coverings, but with Christmas hoodies for Christmas Day. The Ferguson family on it. But the pantomime was good. Grado and Shell Suit Bob were in top form. Really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. At the Pavilion, that was I wasn't there this year. Mark, what about yourself? Great Christmas?
Yeah, it was good, Paul. Yep, enjoyed it. A nice time. Can't complain. Nice time of year. I love it. Enjoy it. Really good.
And then ready for the football. It was such a shame yesterday. I kept thinking during the programme on with Craig Moore, John Hartson, and just saying, right, okay, up at McDiarmid Park, because there was a band of Celtic fans who were there just outside. They were quite, I'm sure they were well behaved and they were banging the drum or whatever, a bit of atmosphere. And then when you went to Ibrox and you just saw so few people there. In fact, the cameras, did you see them panning round the main stand across from the main stand at Ibrox, and the guy kept moving, so he was on the telly at the beginning. Is this me? It's not crazy. Yeah. It takes 52,000 people, as the Rangers legend tells us. This is lazy. This is not good. Just saying, it's 500 people. We're better than that. They need to get a bit more science behind it and make it some more. For people's mental health, we should be out and about. We have to be safe. Of course we do. But just to say, right across the board, whether you're at,
but I think as well, Rangers. When I say we, I mean like our footballing authorities, perhaps should be challenging it more.
Absolutely.
Like not
a bit cosy, isn't it?
Not settling for 500 across the board, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. When you're looking at it, that's fine. And there, for example, brilliant, great day out. There's Barry's at a packed pavilion, indoors. Concerts were still. Why did it need to be yesterday? Why not do it from today? Because we were having the lockdown,
the break.
So do it from I don't know, there's just wee things that are inconsistent, that don't add up, and sometimes you just feel that from our the government authorities that football gets singled out, and it's as if it wants to get made an example of all the time, and for negative reasons, and it's not right.
I feel it does get singled out.
Do you, Barry?
No doubt about it. Look, I think you're right. You've got to stay safe during this pandemic. No doubt about it. The COVID situation isn't great, but listen, fans would wear face coverings. Fans would sanitise their hands getting in and out of stadiums. I've no doubt about it. Just for them to get to watch and support their football clubs. I'm not saying packed stadiums. I get that it can't be, but if you're looking at the stadiums that we've got here, i.e. Ibrox, Parkhead, Tynecastle, Easter Road, Pittodrie, you could get a right few thousand in there, no doubt in my mind. It's not. You heard Postecoglou doing his interview after the St Johnstone game. What he said, doesn't he enjoy it?
No, it's not.
The players don't enjoy it. That's why you want to be a football player. You play in front of fans. Now, I totally get that you can't at this moment in time, but surely you could get a higher percentage than what's in just now.
Of course. And you make a great point. The Boxing Day, St Stephen's Day, it's about the sport. It's a huge day in Britain, Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland. It's a huge thing. And we were denied the fans being in at the grounds. And they'd probably, they'd congregate together to watch it anyway, inside.
It's outdoors.
I know. It's outdoors.
Outdoor.
Maybe I'm missing something.
Arenas.
Yeah. Okay, so Rangers winning 2-0 in the afternoon at Ibrox. This is GVB afterwards.
Well, the afternoon we wanted, because we wanted the win. We knew that St Mirror would give us a hard game. They showed today we were very compact. Our spaces were limited today, but I think the players did well. Especially the first half, we scored twice. Second half, we had the right intentions to score even more, but we created some good chances. But we hit the post once, and some chances we didn't convert into goals. But I was overall pleased with the intention of play, and of course with the 3 points, because that's the most important thing.
And he spoke about the transfer window, and one of the headlines today is Van Bronckhorst saying to the rivals, we're going to be stronger in 2022.
Well, we always anticipate, that's the most important thing. If it eventually will be a busy transfer window, I don't know yet, but we are well prepared, and we have to wait and see what the transfer window will bring for us.
So Barry, are they going to be even better in 2022 than they were in the first part of this season?
Well, I'm sure he would like to strengthen, but that depends on what's available to go and spend. Whether somebody comes in with an offer that's acceptable for one of the top players. I'm sure if that does happen, Gio has got a plan B to go and get somebody in as quickly as possible. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm sure the board will try and support him as much as possible, because I know he would like one or two players in. I know that Rangers aren't in a rush to sell any of their players unless it matches evaluation on top of each individual's head. So I'm looking forward to this January transfer window. No doubt Celtic are going to do a lot of business. It'll be interesting to see what Rangers do. Does somebody come in for a Ryan Kent, for a Nathan Patterson, for a Joe Aribo? Are Rangers willing to go and do business? Who knows what sort of money they can get in. So it's exciting this January. But in terms of Rangers, I think they're looking really strong. I think if you asked any Rangers fan at the start of the season, go into the winter break, you're going to be 6 points clear, they'd have snapped your hands off.
If you were the manager of Rangers, where would you strengthen? So supposing nobody goes just now, would you still like to make a signing in January?
Yep, I think another centre forward. Yep, because in terms of Roof, I really like him. I think he's a top player. He tends to suffer an injury every 3 or 4 weeks, a niggly injury. So your only real number 9 is Morelos. Jermaine Defoe, I don't know what's happening with Jermaine Defoe. So I think a priority would be a number 9. I think they're really strong in the midfield area, depending on what's happening with Ryan Jack. We don't know yet if it's going to be longer term or short term. But I think they're really strong there. Hollander and Balogun are near enough back. You've got Nathan Patterson and Tavernier. You've also got Barisic and Bassey. I think Rangers have got a strong squad, and the great thing about this Rangers squad is they know each other inside out now. They've been on this journey for a period of time, albeit it's a new manager, but for me they're looking really strong going into 2022.
It's funny how the move of Stephen Gerrard, at first you would say, what? He's gone, and now everyone's saying, actually, that's been great. He did a fantastic job, won the title, stopped at 10, and he's moved on. People seem to be enjoying it. There's great expectations. What do you think, if you were the manager, where would you be strengthening? Obviously, here it's hard to argue against Barry on that, isn't it? Another striker.
Yeah, probably a number. You think that they've lost Eaton. I don't know if Eaton's away in Germany, if it's a full season loan or if there's a recall for January. But that probably is the only position as long as they keep everyone. But the thing that would give me confidence there, Paul, listening to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, which was very calm, very matter of fact, and the phrase that stood out for me, and it was, we are well prepared. And that means in all eventualities, I know what's going to happen. I know the place that we're in. If we sell somebody, fine. There's probably 2 or 3 that he thinks that he might lose, that they'll be interested in, and that sounds to me like, okay, so if Aribo goes, I know what I'm doing. If Patterson's sold, I know what I'm doing. If Morelos is sold, I know what we're doing. It might not be permanent deals, it might be loan deals, but it just sounds to me like a man that knows he's got all eventualities covered. And that's what you want to hear. Preparation, forward planning, not flying by the seat of your pants. And that's the thing that stood out for me there. We are well prepared. And that means that they might lose a couple, but he's confident in the people that they've got on the list to bring in to replace them.
Barry, Postecoglou's been going into the Japanese market. More to come, we think. Do you think Giovanni will go into the Dutch market?
Yeah, it would make sense, because it's a market he knows inside out. But I totally agree with Mark. If it's a player, for instance, I'm just using this as an example. If it's a Joe Aribo, he'll have 3 targets written beside Joe Aribo's name, just in case somebody does come in with an offer that Rangers are thinking, right, do you know what, we will do business. But it's got to be the right offer. So I think he's organised, he's planned, he's prepared for the eventuality that could happen. Because that's just the way it is. Rangers have been open about it. They will do business if it's the right money. So he sounds in his interview that he knows what he's doing. He's already planned just in case it does happen. But I've got a sneaky feeling nobody will go, and I think they'll allow him to bring in 1 or 2.
You don't think anyone will go? Because I was going to say
Golson's a real interesting one for me, Paul, in terms of contractual situation. Just what we were talking about earlier with Tony Watt. That's the one for me, that if he's not going to commit, and there's nothing wrong if he thinks he can get more money, or he fancies going back down south, wants a different challenge, whatever it may be, whatever his reasons are, that's entirely up to him, and good luck to him. But if I'm Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, if I'm a football club, I'm saying there's a £35 million title. There's nothing against Conor Goldson, but if you're not going to commit and he's got one eye on his move or one eye on a pre-contract, I would rather have somebody in that I know is only focusing on Rangers. And that's nothing against Goldson. He might still be able to do that, but if I'm a manager, I don't want to take that risk. So if he's not going to commit, and the signs are that at this moment he's not going to commit, I'd be looking to replace him and cashing in them next month.
I would sit him down and look at him straight in the eye and say, right, do you know what, I get if you want to go and earn 3 times the money you're getting at Rangers, but because it's that big a season, and Conor Goldson, let's be honest, is a big player for Rangers, if you're willing to give me 100%, and I need to know right now, if he says yep, but I'm going to go, I keep him. I don't cash in, because you don't know what you're going to get from him.
What would you get?
Look at the bigger picture. Do you get 750 for him, or do you go and try and get that 35 million? I think it's a gamble worth taking.
I agree. You need to have that conversation with him and look him in the eye. But even subconsciously as a footballer, if you know what your move's going to be, or you have penned a pre-contract, or you've got 7 or 8 or 9, 10 offers to look at for the summer on a free, it can be a distraction. And then the last thing that a manager needs is a key player in that position, just ever so slightly with one eye off the ball. So if Giovanni, for example, has lined up somebody, a right central defender that he knows, whether it's on loan for Holland or somewhere permanent, whatever the circumstances may be, if I'm him, I'm thinking, I want to get that. Yeah, under normal circumstances, keep Goldson, get him signed up and let's move on, tie him down the 3-year deal. But if that's not going to be the case, I'd definitely have a niggle. And you don't want to have any niggles if you can avoid them.
I've changed my way of thinking. Like, see, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was like, if he's not going to commit, go. But I've looked at him closely. I've looked at his attitude. I've looked at his performances. I've started to creep up again to what they were. Not as good as last year, but he's starting to get there. I'm now seeing a different attitude in him. Now, that's the attitude that you want to be about the club. If he's not going to commit, it's disappointing. But he's a big player.
Played every minute last season.
He is. He's just too big a player. And I like Balogun's done well. I think Hollander's Rangers' best out and out defender. I like Goldson and Hollander. I think they're a good partnership. But for me, I think you've got to keep him. You've got to try and keep him. Even if he's not going to commit beyond this season, I think it's too big a season and it's worth the £35 million.
The one thing for Rangers is they've come to the end of the year and they won the title. That was the biggest thing in the year, but not a cup, Barry. And it must have irked Steven Gerrard. And Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was in the door, but he was in the stand. We know that at the cup semi-final against Hibs.
It's got to be a frustration for the management team, the board, the players, and also the fans. But they've still got one more cup to go. They've still got the Scottish Cup. Listen, the bread and butter, no doubt, is the League Championship. That's the one that you want, but they need to start winning cups as well. Disappointing against Hibs, no doubt about it. Hibs deserved it in the day, but they need to start winning domestic cups as well, and that's one they'll be going for, the Scottish Cup.
The League Cup went to Celtic. We'll hear more from AP and we'll talk about Celtic after the news which is coming up shortly. And there's more from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst as well. And we'll look forward to, some of the other headlines today. And looking at all the teams: Aberdeen's win against Dundee, Motherwell against Livy, Hearts against Ross County, Hibs winning at Dundee United. What a good start for Sean Maloney. Rangers 2-0 against St Mirren and Celtic 3-1 at St Johnstone. It's the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre, Mark Guidi, Paul Cooney and Barry Ferguson. We're back after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more. Let's go!
Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Yep, it's Monday 27th of December, just that period between Christmas and New Year, but the Christmas spirit very much here in the studio. The tree is up, the bunting is there as well. The bunting, what's bunting? But there is no answer to that one. As we look back at the weekend, and it's the winter break now, no matter what you feel about it, it is here. And Postecoglou, he's been speaking about it after Celtic's 3-1 win at St Johnstone.
Break's coming at the right time because I don't like playing in empty stadiums, mate. I don't know why people confuse the two. We didn't want to keep playing, not because of any other reason, but if anyone enjoyed today's game in here, then I'm sorry, they understand a different football game than I do. I like supporters here. I don't care if they're all away supporters. I think that's what the game's about. So I'm glad that we've stopped it, and there's no guarantee they'll be back in when it resumes, but I hope it is. At least we give them a chance. I don't know why people want to dismiss the effect that supporters have on our game. I assume everyone wants to play in packed houses, otherwise we may as well just play in our backyards.
Barry Ferguson, hard to argue against it.
I can't disagree with that. In terms of his opinion about it, it's horrible playing in front of no fans. But also I get Rangers side it. They want to continue because they're in a good run of form, and they're going to go to two places which is real difficult. Pittodrie with no fans, and Celtic Park with no fans. So I get it for both sides. But like football, empty stadiums, I hate it. Hate it.
And Rangers have kind of put that to bed as well. I mean, we said it 2 years ago. They beat Celtic in front of 60,000. There was only 800 Rangers fans at Parkhead. They have done it. Look at the way they've played this season. So I know not as well as they did, but the table that I've got here, they're 6 points ahead. Mark, I sometimes wish they would come together a wee bit, a united front in football, but maybe that's naive.
Yeah, unfortunately, it probably is, Paul. It's all about self-interest, and I don't say that to criticise any club. Of course you do. You want to look after whether it's financially. The one thing about Ange Postecoglou, I don't think there's from him as a football manager. I think he just says, "Look, I want fans in the ground." He was quite clear about that. I don't think he was trying to mask anything else. It was a clear message. He was unequivocal in what he said and why he said it. And you're right, as you said to Barry, you can't argue with him. Barry can't. None of us can. Yeah, you can say, yeah, that's fine. For our club, I'd prefer if we kept playing. But in terms of the reasons that he's cited for his football club and for football in general, and I was in Perth yesterday, watched the game, it is right. It's not the same. We don't want to be where we were 18 months ago. We want to be where we were 3 weeks ago. So it was just very disappointing that we couldn't get full houses up and down the country yesterday, just for the last weekend, and then we move in and see where we are. But I thought Postecoglou spoke very, very well there about his reasons, and his football club's reasons.
Rangers and Celtic are both on good runs, unbeaten runs, aren't they? Celtic as well. And look at Kyogo. There was all the chat about he would miss Judgment Day next the 2nd of January, but it looks as though he wouldn't have.
Well, I think had the winter break not been brought forward, Paul, by the sounds of it, I don't think Celtic would have risked Kyogo yesterday.
No,
I think they would have. I think would have kept him for the game against Rangers, and rightly so, because they don't have another striker. You look at the bench yesterday, the lack of options that they've got. So I think they would have wrapped in cotton wool to be ready for it. But because they knew it was their last game for 3-4 weeks, then they thought, right, we'll go with it, because we don't want to drop another 2 points, having just dropped 2 in Paisley midweek.
It would be a chance. It's probably too late for the game. If fans are back in, are they going to be back for the 2nd of February? Surely Celtic should take a stand and say, I'll tell you what, Rangers, there's that end of the ground, we're going to give it to you. Yeah,
no chance.
They should be bigger. They absolutely should be. Football without the fans. So, and then answer that one then, Mark. I'm looking at you.
It should be if you're playing at Ibrox and Celtic have got 8,000 fans. It should be when you're playing at Celtic Park in an Old Firm derby that there's 8,000 Rangers fans. That's the way that, if you ask any player, current player that's played in it, ex-player who's played in it, they would all 100% agree with me on it. That's what makes a game.
For sure.
Not just your stadium full of your own fans. When you're going on to take a corner, even if it's Ibrox, Celtic fans are giving you absolute dog's abuse. And the same at Celtic Park, vice versa. But I don't like it. I don't like the Old Firm games when it's just the one fans that are inside the stadium. For me, it's got to go back to the way it was before. Do I think it's going to happen anytime soon? I don't.
Could the league show some cojones and get involved and say to the two of them, hey, come on,
I mean,
start,
you used to have been
behave.
to the games.
Yeah.
And how do you feel as spectators watching it or when you're there commentating?
It was always much better over the years with the colour, and you've got, if you're at Ibrox, it's mainly the red, white, and blue, but you've also got the green and white at the Celtic, and vice versa.
We used to run out the
It's
tunnel.
much
and
better.
The first thing I
Turn
done,
right and you see them.
I go out and I just look left, and it'd just be a sea green and white. That's what it was all about. That's what it was. And the same at Celtic Park. When you run out, you've only got the wee. I mean, it's 8,000 fans, but it looks small on the right side of Celtic Park when you run out, and you can't really hear your own fans because there's 53,000 Celtic fans. That's what Old Firm games are all about. You need to get back to that.
What are they all scared of? What is it?
I don't know. It was a thing that Dave King brought in at Rangers. Rangers started the ball rolling on it, and Celtic followed suit as they felt they had to do. They were under pressure from the supporters to do so. But you're saying, should Celtic be the bigger club and they start off again?
Or Rangers when their game comes, but the next game is Celtic.
Unfortunately, Paul, it looks from the outside looking in, and it appears to be a lack of trust at boardroom level between both clubs. I don't know. That's what it would appear to be. It doesn't look as though, now it might be wrong, there might be things going on in the background, but it doesn't look as though there's a good working relationship between the clubs at boardroom level. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, and somebody for the clubs come on and put me right. But that's the impression that you get, that there's just, and we need it. Unfortunately, we need it to be good from the two biggest clubs in the country by a distance. You're right. Should SPFL or SFA get involved? You would like to think so, but they're not going to take on Rangers and Celtic. They're
and
not
the TV companies
it.
don't either, do they?
No,
I don't think they do.
So when you put it all into the mix, so maybe this is the way it's going to be moving forward. But I don't think it's right. I think you bring a bit of balance to the games and you allow away supporters in, because it adds to it all. But if both clubs feel that this is the right way to go, that we're not going to change, and it's one of them as well, Paul, nobody wants to blink first. In
So
case,
it's never going to happen then.
So exactly, it's no Barry.
Michael Nicholson is the new chief exec, and congratulations to him. He's got the job permanently. Stuart Robertson, MD at Rangers. Surely the two of them, two young men in the job, should start to forge something, because that's the reason we're called an Old Firm, because on the pitch you have a real go at each other and the fans have their day, but behind the scenes, they want more TV revenue, and the better the spectacle, then the more money in the future. It needs a bit of ambition in the league. We need to get VAR, get it sponsored. We need to have the Premier agree on the sponsor, all the clubs, and look forward.
I was saying, go and ask any current player who's played in the stadiums what I was talking about, like Ibrox, where there's 8,000 Celtic fans or ex-players. Go and ask the fans. The fans would want that.
Yep. Yeah. And I guess if you lose your
when they're
season
giving
ticket,
each other in the corners, that
adds to the occasion.
That's it. That's what the games are all about, and it needs to get back to the way it was. Stop bickering, sit around the table and have a cup of coffee and a cup of tea, and
great,
and a selection box,
because they're all getting well paid to run these clubs. In the meantime, the fans, they're all just green, white, or blue and white.
But there's also as well, Paul. You would imagine too. Now you look at the power of the supporters now, because of social media and the pressure that they can put on their clubs for various reasons. And you wonder as well, if either club, like I say, I'm going to use the term, had to blink first, or put an olive branch out, whatever you want to call it, they might face a backlash from their own supporters for being the first ones to try. So if Celtic put the hand out, they said, come on, I tell you what, bring your 7,000 into Celtic Park for the next game, as long as you do the same for us. Or likewise, right, would they face a backlash from their fans, as in you're putting the interests of the Old Firm ahead of the interests of our club and our core supporter base? Now I can sort of understand that to an extent, but the football club has got to be in charge of the football club. Fans are so important. I will say that they plough 25, 30, 35 million pounds into their clubs every season. Season book holders, that's why you want to see them inside the grounds in the current circumstances as well. So yes, fans should have a say, absolutely, but they can't dictate as well. There's got to be a balance of listening to the supporters, taking on board what they say, respecting what they say, but ultimately the board room at football clubs have got to make the decisions.
Strong leadership, that's what's required. What do you think? 08, 08, 17, 17, 700. Can you sort it out, guys, during the The winter break, right? We'll have it sorted by the. No, it'll go on and on. This is the problem. You become entrenched. Who blinks first? When's it going to happen? People have got season tickets. They go, oh, I thought I'd get to the game. They should set it out for next season or whatever and say, right, you're back in. You're right. The whole of that end, it's the 8,000 for Celtic fans, 8,000 whatever it is for Rangers fans coming to Celtic Park. Because what have you got to fear? You scared? You scared of opposition fans? Come on, you kidding me on? I mean, bonkers. Go Radio Football Show. Let's hear from GVB. He's pleased with the season so far.
We tried. Our passing game was really good today, and you could see the spaces were opening up in the second half. Adjusted a little bit their formation defensively, so which we had even more space to create chances. But in the end, you want to have the 3 points, of course, with as many goals as possible. But I think I was very pleased with the way they performed on the pitch.
So a decent but unspectacular win for Rangers 2-0 against St Mirren. A couple of hours earlier, Celtic 3-1 at St Johnstone. But it was a decimated. When we gave you the team news just before 12 yesterday with Barkas, okay, Starfelt, Liam Scales, near beat on the captain. Kyogo, that was the big news that he was playing. Abada, McCarthy starting, Rogic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Stephen Welsh, Juranovic. But it was on the bench that tells the story. Ryan Mullen, Soro and Bolingoli, Joey Dawson, Adam Montgomery, Owen Moffat and Ben Doak. The manager afterwards he praised his experienced players.
Yeah, they were good, but to be honest, I thought it was the experienced ones that really stood up today. Beaton, Rogic, McCarthy, Josip. Really we needed some experienced guys. Cameron at the back to stand up today in a challenging game, and they did.
And he said they showed character.
I don't think that does. I think the whole first half of the year has. So we haven't had one bit that's been in smooth at all. We've had quite a few challenges thrown at us in this first sort of 5-6 months, and right from the first game. But we've stuck at it, and it's credit to the players. And I don't think there's any doubting they've got great character within that team.
How was Kyogo?
Well, he said about Kyogo, as we heard.
Yeah, he's okay. Look, he wanted to give it a go today. We knew he wasn't 100%. And we said to him, don't overly risk. He felt it a little bit. So, just take him off. But, he'll be fine.
Barry, you would see the highlights. What about James McCarthy? Did you see enough of him yesterday?
I seen the highlights, but there wasn't too much.
Not much.
I know Mark was at the game, and I was asking him off air about it. Look, he's not had much game time at all since he signed with Celtic, and obviously that was an opportunity for him yesterday to go and show that, listen, I want to try and fight to get in that starting 11. Because if you look at the players that have been playing in there, good players. I mean, Callum McGregor, as you know, he's been for me the top player
for the year.
Yep, and Celtic's team.
Indeed, yeah.
He's trying to get me to change.
No.
So it's going to be a tough area to get into the middle of the park. So it was an opportunity for him to go and show the Celtic fans that getting a 4-year contract at his age, probably a lot of people looking were maybe surprised about it. But I just go in the past and what he's done, and James McCarthy's a good player. There's no doubt about it. He's a good player.
How was he yesterday?
Yeah, he was good. He broke up play, Paul. He read the game well, broke up play, and the thing that caught my eye about him was how quick he was with moving the ball on. He didn't ponder. He was incisive, and it was quick, and he kept the play flowing for Celtic. I mean, you listen to what the manager said. The manager singled him out after the game. Now, clearly, what's been Ange Postecoglou, he's taken advice from John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan. They've clearly identified that's an area of the team that we need to strengthen. Now, for example, they could have said, no, Sorrow's our man. We know that Scott Brown's leaving, etc. Sorrow, but they've clearly thought no, for whatever reason, Sorrow's not up to it, or not up to it yet, and they had to bring in somebody with experience. James McCarthy on a free transfer, yes, he'll be on a handsome wage, of course he will. But when you look at games like that yesterday, and let's imagine James McCarthy's not at the club, so they're bringing in somebody not as experienced or not as with the same kind of quality as him to play in the middle of the park. If Celtic do go on and win the league, Paul, yesterday's a kind of game where you look back on and you say, that was a turning point. Just before the winter break, having dropped 2 points at Paisley 4 days earlier, James McCarthy played his part. Another thing about James McCarthy will be, yes, it is all about what you do on the park, but it's been a good professional about the club as well. Celtic lost a lot of good senior pros. The club's been in turmoil, or was in turmoil in the summer, as Ange Postecoglou said. So having a good type about the place, a good pro, a good leader to help Callum McGregor and Tom Rogic and Near Beaton, all those kind of guys. So when you look at the quality that they've added, the experience of Joe Hart and Juranovic and McCarthy, and then the match-winning elements of guys like Jota and Kyogo, they've recruited very, very well in the summer. And just give James McCarthy time. He's a proper footballer.
Just look at the level he's played at.
Yeah.
I mean, I played against him as a young kid coming through at Hamilton. You could see the potential in him straight away. He was feisty, he could get about the pitch, and then you go down and you play in the Premier League for Wigan, Everton and Crystal Palace. So you're getting a player who's played at a high level, albeit he had a horrendous injury. Remember watching the game at Everton. Took him a bit of time to get back there. A lot of people says that he never played a lot of football. If you go and look at the game time, not a lot of starts, but he was coming off the bench for Crystal Palace, so he did play a bit of football
at the highest level.
I get Premier League, toughest league about with the best players. So it's took him a bit of time to adjust because it's a total different game, English football to up here. This is 100 mile an hour, and you've got to be bang on it. And if you're no bang on it, you come in for criticism. But listen, you don't become a bad player overnight. James McCarthy's a good player, played at a high level. He's an international player as well. Remember.
Sure. Yeah. A player criticised again yesterday, Carl Starfelt. You touched on it yesterday. Mark, you were at the game. What do you make of Starfelt? And if you were the manager, you have to buy somebody during the summer, or if you said, I've spent 4 million on him or whatever, we have to make it work. Is it going to work?
The signs aren't great just now, Paul. We have to be honest. At that kind of money, you're expecting better. Just to even the lack of quality in the past that led to St Johnstone's goal. His performance in the cup final last week, you're looking thinking, that's not the standard that's needed to go and win a title. Do you persevere the guy? Well, yeah, you'd like to think that there's clearly a player in there, but I have to be honest, I've got my doubts. I've got my doubts because he's not. Put it this way, he's not filling me with confidence, Paul. No, he's not filling me with confidence.
And no sign of Julienne yet, but Carter Vickers has done well, Barry. What's your thoughts on Starfelt?
I better call him Carter Vickers.
That's right, the
Vickers. Davey looked at me, I've had horns coming out my head.
The other night when he said to Davey, what do you think of Vickers? As opposed to ministers and priests.
In terms of Carter Vickers, I'll be honest with you, he had a slowish start, which is natural. You're getting used to the speed of the game up here, but I think over the last number of weeks, he's turned into be a very good player.
Starfelt?
No.
Oh, Carter Vickers, sorry. Right.
I think he's a really good football player. Listen, he's at Tottenham for a reason. Obviously played at Bournemouth last year in loan.
Do you think Celtic will get him? I know Daniel Levy's saying 10. How much would he go for, do you think? Because that'll be Daniel Levy.
Listen, see, the problem is with Carter Vickers, a championship club will pay £10 million for a centre half down there. That's the problem Celtic have got. Is Celtic going to pay £10 million for a centre half? I doubt it. But he's turned into a good player. In terms of Starfelt, I think there's a mistake in him.
There definitely is. Derby have beaten West Brom 1-0. They were going great guns earlier in the season, West Brom, but not now. Just maybe they would need somebody like Carter Vickers, but he has done well.
Is it definitely is that the price tag that's on his head? £10 million.
I think that was
it's ball accounts. It's negotiable. That was a figure that was mentioned about 5-6 weeks ago. But ball accounts, it is negotiable.
I think if he's in the kind of £6 million bracket, £5-6 million, I think Celtic would sign him.
Yeah, I agree with you.
For Celtic yesterday, they started. It was a fast pace. It was the Ange Ball type of football.
We needed to start well, and we started well. Wednesday night, but we just didn't get the goals to show that. But tonight we got the goals, which is always important for us, the way we play. And as I said, I thought the players showed great attitude and commitment.
They've won a cup, Mark and Barry, but was Wednesday night the night where they'll look back? I keep thinking of the Livingston at the end of October, where they drew the Livingston game, and then St Mirren the other night. Two games that a team on form, which they have been, scoring goals, but they couldn't in those two games, or not enough.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's blips, out with the 4 Old Firm games, you've got 34 other league games to play, so you're going to have 3 or 4 games probably, unless you're having a Brendan Rodgers type season, which happens, once a decade if you're lucky. So yeah, those things are happening. What it does now say, for example, it's two scenarios. Is that come February the 2nd, if Rangers go to Celtic Park and win, I think the title's as good as over. At the moment, the thing that will keep Celtic going is that they're 6 points behind, but there's 9 points to play for against Celtic. So the title is still in Celtic's hands. That's all you can ask for, Paul, at any given stage, that it's still in your hands and you're not looking for favours. Because the way Rangers are going, we don't know how it's going to look on February 1st at the close of the transfer window, but the way things are going just now, Rangers are relentless. They're looking like a team that's going to retain the title. Celtic need to upset that. They need to do it themselves. The first opportunity they get is February the 2nd. They must take that opportunity. A draw's no good either. You've got to go and win the game. They haven't beaten Rangers for more than 2 years, I don't think, in the league. So Celtic need to keep it in their own hands. Rangers want to take it out of Celtic's hands and really create a gap. If Rangers finish that night 9 points ahead, it's as good as over for me. But if Celtic reduce it to 3, it's game on. You know, what a final 12 weeks we've got.
Barry?
Rangers are certainly in the driving seat. I says a week or so ago, I believed that both teams would win every game up until the break. Obviously the break got brought forward. I watched the game last Wednesday. Look, they dominated the game. And a lot of people say, oh, but you've got to give Jim and his St Mirren players, but they were decimated. And he played, listen, he probably doesn't want to play that way, but they played basically 10 men behind the ball, 11 men behind the ball, and their defensive third, and Celtic found it hard to break them down. But look, it's still a long way to go. But for me, Rangers in the driving seat in that game in the 2nd of February. I mean, if it goes 9 points, it's Rangers. If it goes Celtic, you're down to 3, and then it's game on. So I wish the game was obviously in the 2nd of January. But it's obviously not.
How many sleeps is that now? 33 or something?
We need to wait to the 2nd of February. But at this moment in time, Rangers, I mean, I'll go back to what I said earlier. If you says to the Rangers fans at the start of the season, going into the winter break, you'd be 6 points clear, they would have bit your hand off for it.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go.
Go Radio Football Show, the Monday edition. It's the holiday edition. Yep, we're here. Barry Ferguson, Mark Guidi, Paul Cooney with the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Just looking at the top scorers so far as we say goodbye to 2021. The top scorers so far this season, and with 16 in total, it's Kyogo Furuhashi, 8 in the league, 3 in the League Cup and 5 in Europe. Second, Alfredo Morelos. I wasn't sure
Morelos.
if you. Morelos with 13 in total, 8 in the league, 1 in the League Cup and 4 in Europe. Third top in the east of the country.
Boyce, Nisbet.
Boyce is correct. It's Liam Boyce. Not been in so much the last couple of weeks. 7 in the league, 4 in the League Cup, 11 in total. And in the same number, it's the other side of Edinburgh in Leith, Martin Boyle. He's 11 as well. And then Motherwell's own Tony Watt with 9 in the league and 1 in the League Cup, so he's 10 in total. Leela Badawi's 2 goals yesterday on 10.
I tell you something, Kevin Nisbet's coming back to form.
Good to see a goal for him yesterday, wasn't it?
Good to see. Because I think there's a lot more to come out of Kevin Nisbet. As I said, terrific season last year. Broke into the Scotland squad. Tough time yet, and it must be tough going through a barn spell. But listen, he kept putting himself in the positions. He was missing some chances, but that's what I like about him. And he's now, I certainly go back to the semi-final of the League Cup against Rangers. Thought he was excellent that day, him and Boyle. And I've watched a few Hibs games since, and you see his form starting to get back to where it was last year and starting to score goals, which great to see.
Who's coming top in Edinburgh for you? Is it going to be Hearts or Hibs?
I was going to say Hearts.
Hearts for the whole season.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking like it, isn't it? Although Hibs coming back in. Also in 10 goals, so that was Leela Bada, Tony Watt, Kemar Ruth. We mentioned him earlier on, but you know, when you love your football, he's a player you like to watch, Mark, isn't he?
I like Kemar Ruth, but you know, Barry hit the nail on the head earlier on. Paul, you know, we're talking about squads and having a good attendance record, and he doesn't have a good enough attendance record, and it's just unfortunate. You know, some injuries, some players are like that, and you feel for them because there's nothing worse when they want to get into a rhythm and get into a flow. And Kemar Roof. Not just since he came to Rangers. I think even before it, his career's been pretty stop-start, and it'd be great for him just to go and get 10 months. Just to go and get a full season where he's available, because there's no doubt he is a top quality player.
Did I mention Jota of Celtic? He's on 8 goals, 5 of them in the league, 1 in the League Cup and 2 in Europe. Ramirez of Aberdeen on 8 goals. Kevin Van Veen, his 2 yesterday, on 7. Bruce Anderson scored for Livy, he's on 7 as well. Charles Cook at Ross County, he's on 6 goals. Joe Aribo at Rangers on 6. Jason Cummings on 6, Kevin Nisbet on 6, just looking there. But top of the table, Kyogo, then Morelos, and then Liam Boyce and Martin Boyle. Wonder who'll be at the end of the season. Premiership table as we head for this winter break. After 20 games, Rangers on 51 points and Celtic on 45 points. Then Hearts on 36, Motherwell on 31, Hibs on 29, Aberdeen on 27. What can you say about Hibs? I mean, I know we say this. Jack Ross must be saying.
I know Barry's too young, Paul, but when you're reading the scorers out there, and it always used to remind me that it was at the Daily Record golden shot. Remember, it was the first to reach 30, and it was Charlie Nicholas and Ali McCoy. So then you'd Ken Eady and Bernie Slaven and all those guys that were all great.
Always up there.
When the newspapers were providing that kind of thing,
Ken Eady, Clyde Bank.
Yeah, Clyde Bank. Yep, Ken Eady. I think he had a chance to go full time a couple of times, but he had a good day job and he didn't want to get, because I think was it Hearts at the time would maybe have taken him and paid Clyde Bank money. I'm trying to think all the other kind of scorers back in that. John Brogan and that kind of thing.
If we do a third hour, Mark, we'll keep you in mind. James is tearing his hair out at the moment. Yeah,
you get something on tonight?
What's that? No, not at all. Are we steaming on here? Rangers, right, top attendances this season. Average home, Rangers 46,500, Celtic on 40,276, Hearts on 16,000, Aberdeen on 10,000. Just looking down, and where's Hibs? They come in on 13, nearly 14,000. Been great attendances this season. Obviously the Celtic one go up when Rangers come to town. It would have been obviously next this weekend, but there's nobody in. Will we have the fans back by February? Surely. I mean, I know that the rate is going up, but thankfully this is not get yourself vaccinated, get the booster, live well and take care. It's not seriously affecting people the way the Delta was, and let's hope we get on top of this. And for mental health, Mark, I think we need to be out and about
across the board, all ages, all walks of life. It needs to be. We just need to try and get. But I don't think any of us thought we'd be where we are now. 12 months on, but we are where we are. In terms of the Old Firm game, Paul, on February 2nd, you know yourself, and Barry, the amount of planning that goes into an Old Firm game. All the pre-op stuff, the stuff with the police, the council, everything that goes on, and with the fact that it's a Wednesday night game, quarter to 8 kick-off, ticket distribution, etc, 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 hospitality, all that.
Actually, that's a great point, Mark. I need to pick you up on that. I meant to ask you, 7:45 on a Wednesday evening. If the fans are there, is this not a recipe for?
Well, that's what I'm wondering about it, Paul, in terms of all that planning. So you would need to start the ball rolling, 14 days in advance, which is going to be January 19th, January 20th. Are we going to, is the country going to be a position then to then roll with that and say, fans will be back in? Because what you don't want to do either, you want to give the fans the best possible chance to be there, but you don't want to get to doing all the planning and say it's going to happen then in January the 31st. By the way, nobody's getting in. Or it's 500 that's getting into Celtic Park. So I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be like, I think that the whole of January is going to be a wipeout in terms of it'll be what we have just now. I can't see us having full houses in the month of January. I hope I'm wrong. And then for the Old Firm game, it might just be a wee bit soon, Paul.
I want to say yes. I want to say yes, that after this 3-week period, fans will be back, but I don't see it. I really don't see it, and I don't see it for the Old Firm game. And I'm worried that it might go on even longer, which will not just be a worry to me. I think it'll be a worry to all the football fans out there,
isn't it? Yeah, because
financially for clubs, Paul, you're spot on.
Because they need the cash. Disciplinary record in the Premiership so far. Red cards. So the worst top of that table. You don't want to be top of the table. It's Dundee, 3 red cards, along Motherwell then 3, St Johnstone on 3, Hibs on 6, Dundee. So it's a combination of yellows and reds. But so the table is Dundee, Motherwell, St Johnstone, Livingston, Hibs, Dundee United, Ross County, St Mirren, Hearts, Aberdeen, and then Rangers on 33 yellow cards, no red cards, and Celtic on 22 yellow cards and 1 red card. So actually, Rangers and Celtic are atop of that table disciplinary wise.
Who was Celtic's red card?
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, it was. I was going to say Starfelt. It was. Yeah, thanks, James. Carol Starfelt. So yeah,
Ross County.
Yep.
Ross, yeah,
That's
just
right.
a couple of weeks
Yep.
ago. That's right. Yeah, I was trying to think of the game. Yeah, that's right.
Who's going to be top of the table? I mean, 6 points clear was Rangers. There's nothing you would change midway through the season. Barry, is there? Who's been your manager of the year 2021 in Scottish football?
Well, I says when you asked me last summer,
Yep.
it was Steven Gerrard for winning the title. Obviously, he's away now. You can go Callum Davison with winning the double, and he's going through a tough time just now. You'll need to come back to me now.
I'll come back to you.
It's a tough one though.
It is, isn't it?
It's a tough one. And then,
If you're talking about the calendar year,
Yes.
it's a tough one.
and you made a great point at the start of the season that Robbie Nielsen, he's brought a promoted team up,
Good point.
and they're sitting in third place. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
okay.
one. Why did you need to come to me first then?
Have a wee thing. Because Mark gave us his player earlier on. Well, when you mentioned.
I give my manager of the season so far, but see if you're talking about the
Oh,
calendar year.
it's a tough one.
I tell you what, Peter, you might think I'm sitting in the fence, but for me, because bear in mind all the different components, Gerrard's away now, Callum Davidson's difficult second half of the season, first half of this new season, despite winning 2 cup. At the moment, for me, there's only one guy, and it's quite clear. For me,
I know who you're going to say.
I'm not going to say
Who are you going for?
Championship.
no.
Oh, no. In the Premiership.
Oh, in the
It's got to be in the
Premiership.
Cinch Premiership. Yeah.
All right, okay. I was going to say Steve Clark.
All right, of course.
I was
Yeah.
going to say Steve Clark, to be honest.
James and I were buying that. I think, yeah, that's true. And it is worth speaking about Steve Clark and the job that he did there. Yeah, I mean, the Championship.
But you were going to say Dick Campbell.
But
Did you?
I know,
Yes,
you know
I know.
what? Dick's viable because
Yeah.
he kept Arbroath up by a bit to spare, and they're now, by the way, at the very least, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't think any Cinch Premiership team, Paul, would want Arbroath in the playoffs.
No, 37 points after the 19 games. Inverness 1 game less. It was cancelled yesterday. They're on 34. But it's phenomenal, isn't it? So Raith Rovers in 33, Killie in 32. You know, they're in touching distance after the win.
It's a tough one. That is a good question.
Yeah.
That because we've just come up with 4 managers there that
Yep.
all could be in with a chance. No doubt of Callum Davison winning a double, Steven Gerrard winning the Premier League. Obviously, Steve Clark for what he's done with Scotland, taking them to the Euros, and we're in the playoffs to get to the World
The
Cup.
World Cup,
and
Qatar,
the way that our national team's playing just now, I think everybody's loving it, enjoying it. Robbie Nielsen, the job that he's done, bringing a championship team up into sitting in third place comfortably. Dick Campbell, you could go on as well. So there's a number of managers. I'm just trying to talk my way out of it.
Ange Postecoglou, who's won a cup.
I know.
Yeah.
There's an argument for everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to make the argument for Ange Postecoglou? No, but you're right. They've taken the first silverware of the season. Who's going to win the title? The £40 million title. And then Cup Day, which you love, and you had so many successes, you didn't lose a cup final. And Callum McGregor has also got an amazing record, hasn't he? Obviously, because he was there right through Celtic winning the cups and
The 4 trebles.
the 4 trebles, and then captaining Celtic last week at it seems ages ago in a way, the League Cup final, the Premier Sports. In a way, so much. I think so much chat about getting ready for the Celtic Rangers January 2nd, and then that pushed back, and then the games yesterday. It's fascinating, isn't it? Are Arbroath going to come up? Barry, what do you think? You know how tough it is in these leagues. Will they come out, or will it be tougher for
Going
them?
on the form that they've produced the first half of the season. Yep. And the job that he's done there, part time.
Yep.
Training twice a week. He's only got them 4 hours.
Yep.
Well, honestly, that is a crazy job
Yeah.
that he's done there.
Because that's what you're doing.
I'm just actually, I'm thinking about it. Yep. I know how hard that is. I know the difficulties. Guys missing training because they've got to work overtime. They're stuck at work.
I think Dick missed the game yesterday with COVID.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Right,
I'm sure
okay.
he did. Yeah, I'm sure he missed him. So he dug it.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against it. There you go. If I was a betting
Okay.
man, I think there's every chance at Dick Campbell. And
Okay.
if he gets them promoted,
Yeah.
that's got to be up there with the best of the best.
God.
Manager of the decade. Let's
It's
make a
got to
new
be.
one.
It's got to be.
It's phenomenal. It is.
It would be,
So who's
yeah.
coming up with them? Is it Inverness? Is it Wraith Rovers? Kilmarnock? Partick Thistle? They're all in the mix. And then there's obviously you then get to the other end of the table with Hamilton, Ayr, Queen of the South, Dunfermline and Morton. Who's going to come up alongside them, Mark? Do you think?
You've
You
got
know,
to fancy
or certainly in
Kilmarnock
playoff.
to
Yeah.
be in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what was intriguing me about the Kilmarnock job. If you look at Kilmarnock situation, so they're in the Championship. So do they think, let's try and destabilise one of our rivals? So do they go and try and get Billy Dodds, a good Ayrshire? Do they go and try and nick Billy Dodds, or do they go and try and nick John McGlynn? Do something like that, because you're talking about what you would believe to be strength in your own club,
Yep.
but weakening your direct opposition, because there's a real battle going on. And as you've said, Paul, you've just reined them all. So I don't know. It might be somebody completely different, but you just
Billy
you wonder.
Dodds.
But yeah, I wouldn't listen.
Good
I
shout.
wouldn't
He's
be
settled up in
surprised.
Inverness.
He
man.
is.
He's living up there now.
Okay.
He's been
Yeah.
living up there for
A number of years,
yeah.
aye.
So he's pretty settled. I think that job just suited him perfectly. Obviously, going in and helping Terry out last
Yeah.
well, I'll need to say his right name in case people don't know who I'm talking about. Neil McCann.
Yeah, indeed.
When he took the job over.
Minder. Yeah.
And then Dodgy
That's a
came
good
in to
point.
help him,
Yeah.
but he's been settled up there for a
He's an Ayrshire boy. And think of all
Ki-
that great
Killy's a
coverage.
massive club.
All that
Big
great
that.
coverage they get on Radio Scotland.
Yeah,
Billy's
but-
got great contact. He's been on there for years as well.
So
You know,
yeah.
it's a big club. You know it. You
Yeah.
remember them winning the cup not too many years ago.
Yeah, 1997.
That was a few years ago. But yeah,
Alec,
John Finney
Alex
Street
Totten.
and all that. Yeah,
Aye,
Billy
it's,
Dodds.
Bobby,
What about Jack
Bobby
Ross for
Williamson,
that
was,
one?
in fact.
Yeah,
People have said, yeah, Jack Ross, and people have said, no, it won't be. Obviously, there's a connection there with James Fowler.
yeah.
So I don't know, but you know, I think if Kilmarnock thought that Jack Ross is interested, if it's a job that appeals to Jack, then you'd have to say then they'd be daft not to speak to him and get him in for a chat.
From our point of view, West of Scotland Station, we'd love to see Kelly coming up or Partick Thistle. We don't think it'll happen for the Jags, but it's almost a dream league this year, Barry. We've often said it because we've got all the major cities in. You know, we've got Dundee and Dundee United. You get the Derby, Hearts and Hibs, because we all know you can't. It'll be hard to believe in some years to think Dundee United were out the table for a while. Hibs were out of the top league. Hearts were out of it just last year.
Rangers were out.
Yeah, well, I know. I think when they look back on that one, it'd be hard
So
to believe.
It's
So
brilliant
yeah,
for our league that we've got that. We've got Dundee Derby, we've got the Edinburgh Derby, and we've also got the Old Firm Derby.
yep. It's not a derby in England, but it's one of the great games tonight. United versus United. A wee bit about that and more from the two managers next.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Big match tonight down south. It's Newcastle United under Eddie Howe up against Manchester United with Ralph Rangnick, of course, in charge. Looking forward to that one, Mark, tonight.
Yeah, as you say, Paul, you know, in years gone by, you think of the Kevin Keegan, Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex is going to be 80 this weekend.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday.
as well.
We'll talk
and
in a moment.
You
Yeah.
think, but that's got the makings of a cracker, and I think Newcastle could go down, Paul. I really think they could be away. You know, I think Norwich have gone. I think Norwich are a set, and then it's any two from probably five out with it.
It's looking like it. Barry, what about tonight? Eddie Howe, any joy for him, do you think? Or is it going to be Man United who, well, they want to make sure they're in the Champions League slot?
I think Man United will win. I think I've got to agree. I think Newcastle will struggle. I don't care how much money they'll have to spend in January. I think they'll go down this year.
You reckon they're going to go down?
Yep.
It's a huge rebuild job, isn't it? No matter how much money you've got, it was always going to take a few years.
And
But
it's
it pushes
it's
them
getting the players up to Newcastle.
down. Yeah. Mhm.
That's the problem that Eddie Howe's going to get. No matter if you're offering a player crazy amounts,
Aubameyang money. Yeah.
yep, they're going to want to go furthest up Manchester.
Yep.
They prefer London because of their lifestyle. So it's going to be. It's a tough one, that, no matter. I mean, obviously they've got so much money to go and burn and spend on players. It's a tough job.
Scoreline tonight, do you think Newcastle, Man U, is it going to be a few goals?
No, I'll go a couple of goals, Man U. I'll go Man U to win 2-0.
Mark?
3-1 Man U.
3-1 Man U. Man City top of the table after that. Well, it was a demolition for a while, wasn't it? 4-0 against Leicester. But then they come back to 4-3 in the second half. But then it ended up, 6-3. Talk about that in a minute. Liverpool on 41, of course, they didn't have a game. Chelsea on 41 and Arsenal on 35. High spot for Scotland. Kieran Tierney scoring.
Yeah, lovely finish to put Arsenal 2 goals ahead. I think when they slowed down and watched the replay, you see where he starts his run from. Paul, he's about 25 yards in his own half. Arsenal win possession and he just goes like a train. Leaves his marker, the right winger, doesn't he track him, and then he's in his own. It's a lovely. He's got the option just to roll it along the 6-yard box, but he goes for the angle drive in off the post past Angus Gunn, and in typical Kieran Tierney style, a real proper celebration, just a real old fashioned
captain celebration.
Yeah, look, he's got to be in the running. I know Mikel Arteta has said that they might do kind of different captains.
I don't like that.
No, I think you have one. You have a leader. One thing that's clear: Aubameyang is absolutely bombed out there. Nowhere near it again yesterday. And you know what? Why not give it to Kieran Tierney?
Barry, would you agree?
Just the way he goes about his business, I think it would be a no-brainer. As I know somebody says last week, there's not a big argument about it. He couldn't be the captain because he's Scottish.
Oh, that's right.
Martin Keown said that.
That
No,
was Simon Jordan. I think he was winding up Jim a little bit.
That's nonsense.
I think it was just a bit of nonsense from him.
You just need to see the way he plays the game. I just like it. He's 100%. Look, forget about all the quality he's got. He plays the game. He just wants to win, and I like players like that. And I think he's captain material.
Sure is. Stephen Gerrard got COVID. We hope he's back soon. Obviously he wasn't at the game yesterday. Villa took the lead against Chelsea, but Chelsea went on to win 3-1. Man City, we mentioned, 6-3 against Leicester. What about Tottenham under Antonio Conte? 3-0 against Crystal Palace. Conte's got a bit of magic, hasn't he?
He's got a great CV, Paul. You look at his track record at all different clubs and at Chelsea, and one thing that he's started to do now as well, watched Match of the Day, is Harry Kane's on it. Harry Kane's looking like his old self, really sharp. Great finish for the opening goal yesterday as well. So for Spurs to be successful, they need to have Harry Kane bang on it, and he's right on it at the moment. Brighton
winning over Brentford 2-0, and West Ham losing again. It's been a tough season for them over the Christmas period, the festive season. West Ham 2, Southampton 3. I see El Yunusi got the opening goal. But Barry, you surprised that West Ham lost yesterday?
Yep, that's a couple of games. But you've got to look at the bigger picture. Look at the job he's done there. And also they've been in Europe for the first time, and they qualified out the Europa group stage. So look, it's just a mini blip they're going through. The job that Davy Moyes has done there has been unbelievable. And actually I enjoy watching West Ham. They've got some really good players, and he's picked these players up for buttons in terms of the Premier League prices. So look, a mini blip, he'll come through that.
Gold and Sullivan have not given him that much gold recently, have they? He's managed the finances really, really well. Do you think the players realise how good that club is at the moment?
You look at more than 50,000 at every game. The fans are right there. As Barry said, I think they're really entertaining to watch. A lot of ding dongs. They concede goals as well. Declan Rice has been brilliant. Mikel Antonio.
Could they win a cup? Sorry, could David Moyes win a cup?
Well, you couldn't rule it out. You couldn't rule them out winning the Europa League. I think now what David Moyes will realise, the squad is absolutely stretched to the limit. Big second half coming up of the season where they want to kick on and try and at least finish in 5th place. And as you say, Paul, trying to win an FA Cup is one thing that's eluded Davy. Despite his illustrious career, he's never won a trophy. So we want to go and do that. Need to go and buy 2 or 3 players in Jan. He's always very careful with how he spends his money. Or the club's money, that is, but I think he'll realise he needs to go out and get 2 or 3 players next month.
Jurgen Klopp and Brendan Rodgers have reiterated that they think there are too many games over this period, because obviously England has a full card tomorrow, COVID permitting. So the table there: Man City on 47 points, Liverpool 1 game less on 41, Chelsea also on 41. They've played 19, same as Man City. Arsenal on 35. Who would have believed that in the early autumn? Tottenham on 29, West Ham on 28, Man United on 27, Wolves 25, Brighton 23, and Leicester on 22 points there. Top 4, Barry, at Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Yeah, I went
fact,
for Chelsea
yeah,
at the
I know.
start of the season, and I'm going to stick with it.
Tuchel come good. It's a wee blip recently, isn't it?
Yeah, but I watched the game yesterday.
How were they?
Yep, it made a difference. Lukaku coming on at half time. He's obviously been missing the last 3 games because of COVID.
Force of nature, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just an absolute machine. But I'm going to stick with Chelsea. But top 4 is going to be between Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Man United.
Right, okay. Did you play against Lukaku? You must have played against him, I would imagine. Maybe. What do we think about that? Mark?
No, I don't think I
No,
did.
maybe not. Your top 4 in England, who do you think?
I think Man City look unstoppable. I think Liverpool, Chelsea will give them a run for the money. I think it'll be tight. We'll go to the wire. 4th spot.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, Barry, we're watching. Is it going to be Davy Moyes? Do you think you'll go West Ham in 4th position?
No, I think it's too big an ask for them. I think that you've got to Arsenal, Man United or Spurs. I've got to go Man U. I agree with Barry. Man U should be, very least, Man United should be 4th.
Should be 4th. Bournemouth have gone one up at QPR. So Bournemouth had started the season brilliantly, but they've gone off the boil. But they're ahead at the moment at Loftus Road. So
Yeah, Matt Warburton's done a really good job at
Hasn't he?
QPR this
Yeah,
season as well.
yeah.
He really has. He's stuck in there. They've stuck by him as well, and he's right in the mix. You couldn't rule out QPR being in the playoffs this season.
Barry, the question I was asking you earlier then, manager of the year 2021 in Scotland for you, who would it be?
But you know what? I've switched. I was thinking about my player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You
Do you want to give the player? Right, give us the player. Right, yeah, who's your player of the year? And I should have said David Turnbull has 10 goals, Jota 9, just when I read them out earlier on.
So it's a calendar year for
Year.
2021.
Yeah, because we won't hear either of you until next year. Where are we today? The 27th. So I just want
I'm
to ask
going to
both
stick
of you.
with what I
Yep.
said last. I think it was me and Mark were speaking about it. We were speaking about Callum McGregor and
Yep.
Joe Aribo. I know Celtic didn't have a great season, but I still thought Callum McGregor was the one that was producing decent performances. I thought Joe Aribo last year was excellent. I think he's went up a notch or 2 this year. So I'm going to say Joe Aribo.
Joe Aribo, your player of 2021. He's the one you wouldn't want Rangers to lose of all of them.
No, he's
Yeah.
too important.
Yeah.
He's too important.
And he looks as though he's loving it just now. Yeah.
Yep, and that's a good sign. Just stay about for another couple of years, and then look, if he continues to play like the way he's doing, he's going to get that move. But in terms of I'm playing week in, week out, I would like to see Rangers try and sit him down and get him on a longer term deal.
Jim McKee is listening in. He listens every night in Kent, so apparently he plays it back, puts him off to sleep later on. No, it's not the case, Jim and Alison there. But he listens every night, so good on Jim, from Bodwell originally, but he listens in at night if you can't hear it live. So I've given you a few seconds there, Mark. So for you then, overall, for this year, your player of 2021 in Scotland.
2021, I going to go for Alan McGregor, the Rangers goalkeeper.
Yeah, why?
Because he makes saves, Paul, that win games. He's made saves that help Rangers be successful, and you know exactly what you're getting. To win an award like you need to be consistent. You need to be an 8 out of 10, 35 to 40 games a season, and I think Alan McGregor gives it. As I've said before, I know Stephen Gerrard's away now, but everything under account, he was Stephen Gerrard's best signing for sure. So yeah, I would go for Alan McGregor.
That was one of your best moments of the year. The three of us were on the Monday night. There'd been a bit of chat, about Dean Smith had gone, who was going to go to Villa, and we said at 5 o'clock Stephen Gerrard is interested in the Villa position. We said it at 5 o'clock on that Monday night, and you said Villa are very interested in Stephen Gerrard. And then the Wednesday we said that was it, done and dusted. So well done for that here.
It came as a surprise. I thought
Didn't
he would
it?
have stayed. But what do I know? He's went. But you know what? It's turned out very well for Rangers.
It has.
Gio's come in.
I think both parties, when you look at it now, but both parties, there was clearly frustration with Stephen Gerrard that he wasn't able to kick on at Rangers the way he wanted to by getting the backing that he wanted. On the other hand, you can look at both, so that the board backed him to the hilt. They couldn't give him any more until maybe a couple of players were sold and he could regenerate his own money. But when you look at it now, for Rangers, the way they've kicked on by getting another quality coach in Van Bronckhorst, and for Stephen Gerrard, it's worked very well for
It's
both
been
parties.
seamless.
See, exactly.
It has. It's come in and it's tough. But what he's done is he's done the most important thing is he's shut up shop. He's made them difficult to score against, and they're still attractive going forward.
Season 4 is always tough, isn't it? I mean, look at Brendan Rodgers. I know it's not 4 full years, but he's finding it tough, having won an FA Cup for them for the first time ever. Barry, Manager of the Year 2021
I've
for
got
you.
to go with Stephen, even
Yeah,
if he's
sure.
been away for going and winning the league.
That's okay.
Because Celtic were so dominant for 9 years. Nobody could get absolutely anywhere near them, and they go. I mean, I says at the start of the season before that it would be a miracle if Rangers did win it, and they went on to win it by 25 points.
Miracle worker Stephen Gerrard on that day. He had that belief, didn't he? He had that confidence.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe in terms of Celtic how poor they were last year.
Yeah.
I was watching them thinking, that's not the Celtic I was watching.
It seems a long
In
time ago
games.
now, doesn't it, under Ange Postecoglou, who deserves such credit for coming into a shambles in the summer and winning the first trophy so far. So there's a lot to look forward to for the coming year. Mark, for you, the Manager of the Year, I mean, obviously there's Stephen Gerrard. He's gone. Callum Davidson, 2 trophies.
Yeah.
The 2 cups in the year. I mean, I know.
Phenomenal.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's Callum Davidson would have to be right in the mix. Stephen Gerrard, he's left Rangers, but look at what he achieved by winning the title by 25 points, by stopping the 10, winning 55, whatever you want to look at it, and then look what he left. Now, for all the criticism that he had, you know, I think we've said in the programme a few times, 1 defeat in 57 league games.
I couldn't believe
you know,
that
that
when
came
Mark
out
said.
Tannadice. So you look at that, he left Rangers top of the league, 4 points clear, still in Europe, and still in a cup semi-final. He wasn't in charge.
Yep.
When Rangers lost to him. So you look at it, it's hard to argue against Stephen Gerrard. If I had to throw up a challenger to Barry, it would have to be Callum Davidson. But I think over the piece, Stephen Gerrard possibly just edging it, but Callum Davidson outstanding.
I couldn't argue against that in terms of if somebody did say if Callum Davison did get an award, if there was an award for the calendar year, to win 2 cups at a club, no disrespect, St Johnstone, the level of budget he has to operate with, what a job that was for Callum Davison.
Mr. Ferguson, I know you want to finish by saying happy birthday this Friday to the other Mr. Ferguson, now Sir Alec Ferguson, probably the greatest ever manager.
It was worrying times when obviously he went through what he went through, but I mean, you see, obviously we'll watch the Premier League, he's always at Man United games, the camera pans round to him and he looks back to health again for what he went through. So to get to 8-year-old, for me, the best manager in Britain.
Brilliant. Sir Alex, have a great day on Friday. We're back. Mark, thanks very much. We'll see you next Monday.
We'll see you in 2022. Have a great new year,
Thank
everybody.
you very
Paul
much.
and Barry.
Look forward to it. And Barry, going to take a couple of weeks off
Yeah,
from
we'll see
here.
you. Yep.
Good luck with the Alawa, and we'll see you. And we'll continue some Christmas, New Year celebrations.
I'll be tuning in.
Great,
Don't
you
worry
give us
about
some
that.
marks. You can send us some notes. Okay, that's me in trouble. Rob McLean's here tomorrow night with Craig Moore. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, James. We'll see you soon.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers. Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.